All right, we're going to go live in 3, 2, 1. Are you ready, Jeremy?
Yes.
Am I ready? Yes, I'm ready. Jeremy's right there. We're ready. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is Pixel Stabbers, and today we're talking about the FujiFilm X-T4 and everything we know about it. It's a very future, advanced, powerful, awesome camera, and Jeremy has the older one, the X-T3, and he's been using it for a while now. Right there, the X-T3. And Jeremy is also a Fujifilm X photographer, aka Fujifilm camera ambassador. So he has a lot of knowledge and experience using Fujifilm. So he's going to share his insight and knowledge about the X-T4 today. Right, Jeremy?
Yes, I am. Well, with your help, of course. I can't do it without you. You know that.
I'm just gonna read the website. I mean, we're just gonna hop over to Fujifilm's website because they have a lot of information there.
Let's just be honest.
Yes.
All this spec talk, all that, it's all out there.
Exactly.
But I think what people need is a personal experience and personal comments on the gears. That actually help much better than the so-called specs.
Exactly. And that, my friend, is why you are here today. Because we want you to help share your feedback on how you use it. And just so that they know, what is your experience in photography? What have you done for photography? What have you done with photography? What is your craft? You know, share a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been doing almost one of the most stressful photography, which is portraits and wedding, that you have to run around.
Yes.
And you got to get it right in, at that moment. So, well, if you're good enough, basically any camera can do it. Have you seen those cheap camera balance? I mean, challenge, whatever, those helps. But gears do help. So when you have the good camera, white camera, that helps a lot. Especially doing portraits and especially doing a wedding day portrait. You only have like 5-minute portrait. You got to get stuff right.
Oh, yes.
I mean, for wedding day, you got to capture the full moment by focusing. So with all this new technology, I think the Fuji does a really awesome auto-focusing. Like, the eye and face detection tracking, you can't lose. I mean, when I say you can't lose, literally, you cannot lose the face. Literally.
Right.
So that was awesome. And then they actually have a much better features in X-T4 right now. So we could talk about that later.
Yes. And then you're modest, you'll never say it, so I'll have to say it. You've been shooting weddings for 15 years now. You've been a WPPI judge, and you've also entered and won competitions at WPPI too. So Jeremy here is not your typical YouTuber or Amazon Live gear talk guy, right? He's actually in the field. He knows the equipment, he uses it, and he has his experience as a photographer. So he'll give you the insight on what feature is really useful as a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer versus what's a marketing trick to get you to buy the latest, greatest gadget. Yes. And a little bit about myself is I've been shooting weddings for the last 10 years. I shoot mainly weddings and engagement sessions. So I have a lot of experience in that. I am a Canon shooter. I shoot mainly...
Shame on you.
It doesn't matter. Gear doesn't matter, right? It's how you use equipment to capture the moment and to provide value to your customer. And for me, I've been using I started out with the Canon 50, then I went to the 5D Mark II, then I went to the 5D Mark III, and then went to the 1DX, and then now I've been shooting with the 1DX Mark II, and maybe I'll jump over to the X-T4 because the 1DX Mark III is really expensive, and looking at the specs and from talking to Jeremy, the X-T4 has a lot of everything I need, and with the mirrorless technology, it's a lot lighter because, here, hang on, let me show you what I've been using to shoot my weddings with. This huge thing is the 1DX.
And compared to this little handy, beautiful thing.
Right. So that's the X-T3, and this is the 1DX Mark II from the Canon line. This thing is huge.
If I tell you I never shot or touched a Canon before?
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Seriously. This is ironic because I never operate a Canon camera ever before. The first time I actually touch it is in a conference which is sponsored by Canon. I was one of the speaker, but it was on some object. So at the end of they want to take a picture and they want all the speaker holding the Canon camera, just like.
So you had to front it, like, yeah, this is my Canon camera.
I'm holding it. Like that's the first time I'm holding a Canon camera ever.
Wow.
And then like later on, like if I shoot wedding, and then there's guests who have like Canon cameras.
Yes.
And I asked me, hey, can you take a picture with my camera? And they have a Canon. Like, okay, now what I do with this? Where's the button? It's like I have no idea.
Right. I mean, once you get comfortable with a line of camera, you tend to stick with it. And you know, like the camera battles, like one year this brand is ahead, next year this other brand catches up, and they're always fighting. And the bottom line is you find the camera system that works for you. So they all do their job. But this day and age, I think Fujifilm has the next step up. They're going to be the pack leader for a little while with the
I'm
X-T4.
kind of weird type. I mean, I don't go for the tech spec or who's more powerful, who has the most powerful sensor. It's that I look at the history and also the attitude and characteristic of the company.
Yeah.
Like for example, why do I side with Fuji right now and choose the camera? Besides, they make beautiful camera.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Second is the culture, because they just want to make good photography with their camera.
Yeah.
They actually, if you look into when we talk about all that X-T4 and why this happened and why that feature is there, you will know why.
Yeah.
They really want to just focus on photography and not technology. Okay, technology is there to help you do photography. Mm-hmm. So that is different. Some camera basically just fold all the technology into it, boom, 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 like jam into one little back box.
Right.
But Fuji doesn't do that. Fuji, yes, they have the same technology, but then the way they present it, the UI and everything is allow you to do good photography. That's the difference.
Oh yes, yeah, and they definitely encourage creativity, especially with their film simulators. I've learned like it really makes it exciting and fun to take pictures again. They bring in little elements that excite the purist of photographer. So let's talk about the X-T4 and jump over to the website. So this is Fujifilm's website. You guys can always go to here and check it out. All the information is here, but we want to just go through it with you to share our insight as we talk about it. So
this is not beer and ginger ale, so don't quote me.
Yep. So here's the camera in all of its glory. Let me actually refresh the page.
Look at that. That's gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a beautiful looking one. There you go. Look at that. There's the new very LCD screen. Yep. Flips out, and you got the still mode and the film mode there. And it's a very compact camera. It hasn't been the size is around the same size as the X-T3, right, Jeremy?
It's slightly bigger because it had a brand new feature in it that caused the camera to be bigger, which is the in-camera stabilization.
That's
they
right.
They finally have it.
Yeah.
On the 4th generation of the XT, they have it now.
Yes. Yeah. Let's read this little blurb here they have. Oh man, I love the way they orient this website. It's very eye candy. There's so much eye candy here. So
very filmmaking.
Yeah. Yes. They focus on film and they focus on photography, and they really show it in this little dialogue here. So, photography in motion. Making a camera that's suitable for both photography and videography is no simple task. The X-T4 is Fujifilm's most powerful X-series camera to date, with no compromises for stills or video. It uses the 4th generation X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor, the X Processor 4, and newly developed compact in-body image stabilization, aka IBIS, system, a new film mode called Eternal Bleach Bypass, and various other features that have evolved based on user feedback. This camera, my friend, delivers image quality that can satisfy the demands of professional photographers and videographers. So,
I have not heard one single photographer who used Fuji and said that the image quality is bad or the color is bad. Both is top notch.
Yes.
Like I don't care if you're shooting Canon, Nikon, or Sony, or Panasonic, or Olympus. When you actually pick up at Fuji and shoot, they would never complain.
Yes.
I mean, they will complain about the feature because, you know, when they want to compare like technology features, yes, there's something to talk about. But when it comes to taking pictures, no complaints there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have not heard any complaints either. And I know you said don't talk about specs, but I'm a spec guy, so I just want to share this thing that I found.
No. This is not just talk about spec. We're going to talk about spec plus more.
Perfect. So here's my 2 cents in it, because I did not know that all of Fuji's camera lines are either medium format or they are APS-C.
APS-C.
They don't have a full frame, yet their cameras are right there on the competing edge with all the other brands' full frame cameras. So that's a huge testament to the quality that they deliver. They don't have a full frame sensor, but their crop sensor is as good. I mean, what's more to say about that, right, Jeremy?
Well, I think they have an interview with the CEO at one time in Japan, of course, in Japanese. And I think the reporter, they asked, like, how come you guys do not make full frame camera like all the other cameras do?
Yeah,
right?
That's a good question.
And the response from him was quite genius because, like, well, we have to make products that, make people happy. And there are so many companies making full frame right now. So one more, one less doesn't really make a difference. It won't really affect the market.
Yes.
We rather to focus on what we do best, which is crop sensor, make it to the max. I mean, if you tell any photographer or industry people right now that Fuji is crop sensor technology is probably on the top notch within the industry, no one will say no.
Yes.
And then they also make one of the most affordable medium format camera.
Yes, they do.
So it's like only a couple hundred more than a full frame, dude. Come on.
Yes. So instead of competing against other companies' full frame line, they step it down to crop sensor, so they're all in their own league, right? And they also step it up to medium format, so they're all in their own league. And pricing wise, they're super competitive.
Well, you think about it, there's a reason why they stay with crop sensor, because when you're dealing with crop sensor, the technology is easy to master.
Yes.
It will actually basically do better in both in photography and also videography. Yeah. When's the last time you heard you realize most of the blogger or YouTuber
Vloggers?
They use a crop blogger. Most of the time they use a crop sensor camera to do their videos, right? Not full frame.
Right. Typically, because usually the nice thing about crop sensor is because the camera has a crop sensor, it's a smaller body typically, and because it's a smaller body and the sensor is smaller, the optics can be smaller, so the lens are smaller and lighter too. But so also,
even though they have full frame camera that have video capacity, when you actually change it to medium mode, it's not going to use the full sensor; it's going to crop down anyway.
Well, it
so
depends.
Having a full most of them are.
Your information might be a few years dated, no offense, Jeremy, but there's a lot of cameras now that do full frame vlogging, like the EOS R and the EOS RP, because I'm a Canon line guy. I know these cameras. But like the main crop ones where you're probably thinking about is when you want to film in 4K, they severely get cropped. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of value in having a crop sensor camera because it's lightweight and it still has really good optics. So that's a huge advantage, and especially because now it's mirrorless, so you can have the body even smaller. I think Fujifilm is in the right time with the right technology right now. It's perfect because now we have mirrorless and everything is shrinking. And they just push that to the next level by having a really high-end APS-C sensor with really high-quality glass to pair with it.
And also, one thing I found that the APS-C sensor do better for me is I shot with full frame before in like a wedding day. Let's say if I capture some really fast movement, I would do continuous shots. Maybe I get like 10, 15 shots, right?
Yes.
Even though I have a good SD card. It will take some time to save. It keep loading, right? You can review it. But with the crop sensor and also the Fuji's X processor, it's way faster. Like, dude, this is way better. Okay, done. Let's move on. No.
Yes. Yeah, that's another huge advantage because crop sensor means there's less data on the sensor, and then plus you have these super powerful processor like the I think it's called the X processor 4 now. Processes the images so fast, writes it to memory card, and you're good to go. So there's advantages of being crop sensor, definitely. And you shoot professionally. You shoot weddings with the X-T4, right? And it doesn't limit you any way at all, right?
No, it actually makes things much easier. Like when I process the picture in Photoshop or Luminar, it's faster, loading time, way better.
Yeah, and Jeremy, you just pulled a quick one. What is Luminar? I don't think a lot of people know what Luminar is.
Luminar is they've been they've been around for a while, but they had different versions. The latest version is called Lumina 4, and the latest update is 4.2. The special about this software is, well, how should I position it? It's in between Photoshop and Lightroom. It can do things that Lightroom can, and it can almost match Photoshop. And the two major functions is that one is they have AI assistant in there, so they help you, guide you on your editing. So if you have no idea what to do with pictures, the AI will kind of show you like what you have to do. Second is the AI masking, which allow it to do AI sky replacement. I think we have video about that.
We do.
You guys should check it out. I mean, you'll be amazed. You will be amazed how cool that is. Because one thing about photography is that if you're taking a landscape or people in the landscape, the biggest thing you can change to make a picture become dramatic is change the sky.
Yes. Yeah.
The sky comes with the lightings. Yes. So you change the sky, you change the lighting, and from a dull, blowing sky, if you change to a sunset, you've got golden hours, period. Yes. And that becomes dramatic. So you can't get any better than that. Yes,
and like Jeremy says, if you want to see more information about Lumina 4, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/pixelstabbers. And there we talk about the basic functionality of Lumina 4, and we go to some advanced tutorials on how to really use it to, in a few seconds, just a couple of clicks, transform a simple picture to a picture that will wow pretty much anybody. But anyway, this video is about the X-T4 and not Luminar. But nonetheless, it's part of the workflow as a photographer, so that's why we mention it. So let's scroll down here. Let's take a look at Fujifilm and their history of colors, right? Because colors is actually important everywhere, especially when you're taking pictures, when you're doing video. But it's very particularly important to Fujifilm. Let me read this blurb from their website for you guys. For over 85 years, Fujifilm has continuously evolved and moved the changes in technology from analog to digital. At their core, they have constantly looked at how to reproduce colors and develop new ways of representing your creativity. The X-T4 features a new film simulation mode called Eterna Bleach Bypass to give both film and stills a more artistic look, with images having reduced saturation and increased contrast. So that's a lot of words. Jeremy, can you summarize that up a little bit in terms of their heritage and what this new filter is all about?
So Fuji, if you could put all this camera manufacturer on the same line, okay, what stands out Fuji is that Fuji is the one who also make film. Back in the film days. Yes. Canon don't make films, Nikon don't make films, Sony don't make films, but Fuji make films. So they make up a lot of iconic films way back in within the 85 years. And when photography is transitioned from analog to digital, Fuji films in the later years, I think they kept all the color science secret, and they have a specialist about the color science for Fuji films. Film colors. They translate all that into digital, and they apply all that into something called film simulator within Fujifilm's camera. It's not the same as all the other camera has those picture profile, because those only change to more vibrant black and white sepia. All this film simulator is based on one of those iconic films they make with the result and the colors, and also the artistic look of it. So that's what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, the cool thing for me as a videographer that takes a lot of video is that these film simulators can be applied to videos just as well as images. So if the film simulators look good, and a lot of these look great, that's like 90 to 95% of my post-processing work done, whether it's video or whether it's photo, because they come out of camera looking perfect. In fact, in some cases, I can't even get the same look unless I'm a genius at manipulating all these post-processing settings, because some of these film simulators look amazing, and there's a lot of science that goes through and a lot of technology that Fujifilm has been able to build to get these looks, and that's why they're good at it, because they've been doing film for 85 years.
They've been doing this for 85 years. You think you're going to go home one night and try to break that quote? Nah, it doesn't happen that way, man.
Right, and they're unique in all the camera lines, like compared to like the other brands like Nikon, Canon, Fuji, Sony. They don't have this heritage, and even if they did, I don't see them even trying to bring back the excitement of film and film styles to make these look.
Ever since I part with Fujifilm, I studied the cultures and also studied the users. They don't need to compete with all the other brands. Because people who fell in love with Fujifilm's camera, they don't shoot any other brands. They only shoot Fujifilms because the other brand can't give them what Fujifilms give them.
No, it's a very unique culture. And if you are into photography, sometimes if you just stop and take a look at what Fujifilm offers, you'll fall in love with photography all over again. It's really unique, that's for sure.
I could say one thing: if they don't use it for a slogan, it's their fault. But the difference between other camera manufacturers and Fuji is other camera manufacturers will give you technologies, but Fujifilm will give you technology for your artistic. I think that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and it's fun to be able to use these technology to be more creative. So here is an example of, I think that Bleach Bypass. Yeah, so
yes,
you can see the colors there. And the Bleach Bypass works on video and photo. As you see right now, this is normal, and here is, I think that's normal too. Yeah, so that's still normal, and you can see that's with the Bleach Bypass. A very unique look. They desaturate the colors and they enhance the contrast.
Man, I wish one time I could have a shoot like this. I'm on a truck and then shooting someone riding a horse. That's so fun.
Oh yeah, we should definitely do that once the shelter in place is over. We should get out there and
we could go to Half Moon Bay and rent a horse and do that, right?
For sure. Yeah,
I'm shooting a guy. I'm not shooting no guys with no shirt.
We'll find a model that's more fitting for your interests.
That's more like it.
So they call it Bleach Bypass. Do you know the reason for that name? Is it?
I don't know the whole story, but from what I understand, that one of the film development back then is one of the process supposedly is you have to put the photograph, like we'll talk about photograph, not the analogs, like a film into the bleach to bypass it to kind of enhance the color or whatnot. Then there's one time, or you know how they keep trying different methods, so they tried it without bypassing the bleach and then come up with this look which is kind of semi-desaturated, but at the same time have more contrast. Though they like that look, so they keep that contrast within, and that become a thing, and it become popular and famous. So they make film out of that process. So then translate into this amazing film simulator digitally.
That makes sense because it's actually a real film look that they're simulating. Very cool. And here's, we've been looking at this guy in a horse and this photographer using his camera to capture it. But the photographer is this guy right here. His name is Pal Lauki. I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. But let me share to you guys what he says here. So when he made the switch to Fujifilm's X series system several years ago, there were many reasons to do so. But one of the most important reason was definitely the color reproduction and the film simulations. He tends to favor different ones over different periods of time. In the beginning, he used the Pro Negative standard, and it was a starting point for most of his work. Then, when the classic chrome simulation arrived, he was completely sold on it. It more or less removed color correction from his post-processing routine completely. Now, Eterna Bleach Bypass is starting to have the same effect on his film work right now. So he's finding that this new Eterna Bleach Bypass suits his shooting style perfectly and saves him many hours of color correction in post.
Yeah, I share the same feeling too. I mean, I'm a Photoshop guy, but with Fujifilm, I actually edit less now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you have to edit, right? If you can take great pictures and they look great out of camera, you just save yourself a ton of time. I mean, the only reason why you have to post-process.
Well, that makes sense. The only reason that I process because the camera can't give me what I want.
Exactly.
That's why I have to post-process it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the camera can't give me what I want, then why should I want to fuss around with it?
Right. It's a very unique mindset because coming from someone that shoots Canon, and you know Canon has these color profiles, which is nothing like Film Simulator. In my mind, I think the color profiles are just cheesy, right? Because all they're doing is they're applying a simple preset to my photos, and then they never look good, and they're not consistent. And then when I go home, I have to reprocess them anyway. That's why I always shoot raw, because it doesn't look good with the color filters. But it's different with Fujifilm's film simulators, because these are actually high quality simulation looks that are desirable, and these are the ones that you would spend time, if you didn't have them, in post to make it look like this. So it's a shortcut. If it looks great already and you love it and your client loves it, it comes out of camera looking like that consistently, there's no reason why you would have to spend time in post. And this guy right here just says it. Like, it saves him many hours of color correction in post. And that says it all, really. If you're a professional and you value your time, consider using film simulation looks, because they can change your workflow completely.
Totally.
Yeah.
It changed me.
For sure, for sure. So performance, right? We talk about the heritage of Fujifilm in that they have this history and research technology, but they have to have good performance to stay on par and ahead of the game in this day and age, right? Otherwise, they can't sell cameras if their camera is outdated. So definitely, they don't focus on performance, but their performance is really good. And with the X-T4, it's actually a step up in terms of features and functionality from all the other cameras out there, especially with their 6.5 stop of in-body image stabilization and variable screen. Like, they have a lot of stuff going on with them. So let me give you the blurb about what they say with performance. A professional camera needs to be able to shoot every moment and record it instantaneously. The X-T4 autofocus works as fast as 0.02 seconds and with a burst shooting mode of up to 15 frames per second using the mechanical shutter. The camera delivers ultra-fast performance and functionality, responding to your desire to capture every split second in the best quality possible. So that's their testament for performance.
I found that there are, yes, I totally agree. Super totally agree. I mean, before, I don't really shoot a lot like a continuous shot, like 15 frames per second or even 10 frames per second, because back then the technology and also shooting with full frame, that's actually kind of like a hassle, honestly.
Yes. But
ever since I upgrade to FujiFilms, and then I do more of this right now because they actually make it easy.
Yes.
Honestly, I mean, what I mean by that is that I don't have to wait for my card to be loaded.
Yes.
With all this image. That processor is superior, I'm telling you. Well, the one about it, because they're like APS-C sensor, the file size is smaller, and that helps too. But then again, how many pixels do you really need? Now, if I need another pixel, I go for another GFX line, which is the medium format.
Formats, yeah.
So for any normal day, I would say from reporters to wedding photographers to normal hobbyists, anyone who is interested in photography, this is more than enough.
Absolutely. And
the performance basically enhances the enjoyment of taking photos too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to worry about nailing the focus because it does what you want it to do, then you can focus on actually looking at your composition, your color, your emotions that you're trying to capture, everything. You don't have to worry about what the camera should be worrying about, which is getting the focus and getting the shutter speed to capture that moment for you when you have everything else dialed in. So you work as a team with your camera. It's your extension to your right hand, right? You are one with the camera, and that's why the performance lives up to it. So you can use it as your tool for your creative outlet.
even a professional, you know, my friend Ken L, he's an ex photographer. He's the one who introduced me to Fuji. And when I learned, he's been shooting crop sensor. And guess what? And guess what kind of photographer he is?
I don't know actually.
He's a fashion and commercial photographer.
Oh wow!
And he still shoots. He actually used the X1.
Oh
crop
yes,
sensor.
yes. That's like 3-4 years old now.
Yeah, but still good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he upgraded to X-T4 now already.
Oh
so.
yeah, yeah.
But still, I mean, a lot of people think, oh man, you got to shoot a lot of megapixel with fashion and portrait. He's shooting crop sensor, and no one complain, no clients complain. It's a myth out there that for some cases, let's say Microsoft asking for him to do like a commercial shoot, which the picture will be on billboard, then he will definitely go for, even for billboard, then you will go for medium format.
Yeah.
Right. So they have the option too.
Yes.
So it's perfect. They can't eliminate the whole in between. The full frame doesn't need it because
yes,
you really don't need it.
I mean, there's pros and cons, right? If you're shooting medium format, it takes time to you want to get the perfect picture. So you put the camera probably on a tripod, frame it perfectly right, and then you're gonna capture like 100 megapixel in that one shot. So you don't care that it takes like a couple of seconds to write that to memory card. I don't know how long it takes, but it takes more time than a crop sensor to write it to memory card. But in that situation, your work is about that one perfect moment with tons of megapixels. So you can blow it up as you need, and everything is perfect. Whereas when you shoot for most other situations, like even fashion photography, wedding photography, event photography, news reporter or hobbyist, the APS-C has this huge advantage of providing just enough megapixels for all your daily needs, but at the same time delivering very fast performance because it limits those megapixels. It still has a lot of megapixels, but it's because it's a crop sensor, it's able to deliver that really fast in memory card. So you shoot and you have it saved right away, so you can continue shooting, and it also helps with the faster autofocus as well and the faster shutter speed. So it does a good roundabout job for pretty much any type of photography, and that's why we always recommend the X-T4 because it has a performance that any everyday modern photographer would be happy with.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right.
Next.
Let's see what's down here. Oh yeah, so this is another photographer that uses the X-T4. He's an ex-photographer too. So it looks like he's shooting some sports here. So he's gonna talk about like the performance and stuff like that, right? So Daniel Malikiar is his name. He says the autofocus on the X-T4 is impressively fast and accurate for both photography and cinematography. Oftentimes, when shooting video in a one-man docu-style setting, you have to be able to trust using continuous focus. The precise result from this function on the X-T4 plus X-Series lens were consistently reliable. That's huge. That is really huge. Being able to shoot stills at 15 frames per second gives you an invaluable tool to capture fast action moments. One of his favorite forms of the medium is street photography. And in street photography, moments come and go in seconds. And having the capability like 15 frames per second completely elevates the photographer's resources in the field. So he's really loving this camera, and he's using it in a very demanding fashion. Right, Jeremy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think for most cases, people kind of pull too much of the stress on the camera with two things. One is the megapixel, which, to be honest, this is not as, in my book, it's not as important. Second is the focus and buzz rate. Especially for like reporters, sport photographers, they need those to focus, solid, accurate, and also bring weight to capture the photo that they need. Those are essential for them.
Yes. Yeah, and the X-T4 delivers, especially with all the amazing X-Series lens combined with the new technology in X-T4. It's really a great camera for very demanding situation, whether you're in photography or cinematography. and durability, right? Because these cameras also compete with weather-resistant cameras from other ends too. So they also have their fair share of durability. So this is what Fujifilm says about the durability of the X-T4. The X-T4 features an all-new field access 6.5 stop in-body image stabilization, aka IBIS mechanism, and a new large capacity battery that enables extended hours of shooting. These new components are housed inside a compact, weather-sealed body that is dust and moisture resistant, capable of working at temperatures as low as -10 degrees Celsius. The ergonomic grip allows you to hold the camera steady even when using larger telephoto lenses. So they thought of everything. They didn't skip out on anything, right? It's a smaller camera, it's APS-C, but compared to like my 1DX, I think it has everything that I would use for rugged environmental shooting. It's got everything.
You know, I got two stories to tell. One is that people keep asking me, well, like, what's the difference between the normal cameras and the professional cameras?
Ah, yes.
So the professional camera pretty much is for what type of work? Like, let's say reporters.
Yes.
Journalism, right? They have to rush in and, get those photos, and then doing especially war photography, right? You drop it, you got dust, you might be water, and then your camera have to be capable of surviving all that, so that it can save those images. That's professional camera. So mostly because it's the duration of the camera, not the quality. So people are mistaking what is considered professional, right? People are still thinking, oh, as long as I have like a lot of megapixels, that's professional. No, it's not.
Yes.
It's about this. Basically, it has the in-body stabilization. So when you're rushing in, walking around, you just do get sharp images. And then if people spraying water or sand all over, whatever, your camera won't get, those stuff won't get into the lens screen and sensor. That's professional grade. So that's professional. Yes. And the second question I asked is, man, this camera is so small. It doesn't even feel like professional.
Ooh.
Who said that a small camera cannot be professional, right? Look at all this. It's in there. That's even what the professional needs. Because imagine a reporter or a sport photographer, they have to handheld that a whole day to follow a story. Imagine holding your 1DX whole day and compare holding this, right? You know how painful that is?
It's painful. I hold two of these.
I got this.
This is painful. But this is when I picked this up like several years ago, like 5-6 years ago, and it was ingrained in my mind that I wanted to stick with this series. But nowadays, if I want to for my next camera, X-T4, right? Like you said, you don't need to have a big camera for it to be professional. You want something that does the job, gets it done with good in-body image stabilization and good performance and weather resistance to handle the day in and day out. Like I throw this on the ground when I need to run and do something.
You have that hand grip thing, right? What's that called?
The hand strap, because I need it.
Strap.
It's heavy,
you see
man.
This?
Yeah.
This actually changed my whole approach with camera.
Ah.
So before, I have always have a camera strap and then have a strap wrapping around my arm so that if I drop it, it would kind of in my arm.
Yeah.
Right now, you see how I use this kind of like a pit design quick release thing?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
So my camera strap can actually attach to this. And most of the time, I don't need the camera strap. I just hold it like that because I hate having things like leeching on my neck and my hands. So this is much more useful.
Yes.
But if I need the camera strap, I just strap it on like that. Yeah. But most of the time, I don't even shoot with the camera strap right now because it's so light. Lightweight, I just hold it.
Yes. Yeah.
I can move around much more mobile.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I want to just reiterate that. Like, even though I have this huge camera, if I need to buy a new camera now, I don't think I would buy this because for an event situation, I want it to be small and light. And with the mirrorless technology, Fujifilm X-T4 really has the edge on using mirrorless cameras with the APS-Cs and really providing the performance that you need for a professional photography, for professional shooting, with the durability that even this camera has, right? So it has everything that I would say is perfect for professional shoot. And like you said, those are really two good stories to share. So let's see
But
what
when
else.
you
Yep.
when you do the same profession for so many years,
Yeah.
you hear things.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the mindset too, right? Because people, they don't know what they don't know. So if you're not a professional, you would wonder what makes a professional camera. And you
Honestly,
really don't,
I don't want to put people down, but the pioneers and the visionaries always get put down in the beginning. Just like when digital photography first introduced, people, all the film photographers, like, no, that's just like for gimmicks. So it's a toy. That's never gonna work. Look at us now.
yeah, now we're one step above beyond digital, right? We used to be digital SLR. Now it's like mirrorless. So it's even one step above that. And I love technology. And if you can't stay up to date with technology, you're gonna be left in the dust. And Fujifilm does not leave you in the dust.
In the beginning of the video, you said that I could break those myths that, for the marketing purposes.
Yes.
And this is exactly like that. Like, I mean, all these companies are making full frame camera, of course, tell you full frame is the best, full frame is the best, full frame is the best, to kind of brainwash you. But then getting a good quality image is not about just the megapixel.
Yeah.
It's the sharpness. It's can you able to get that picture in a difficult situation? Is the color looks amazing, look artistic, or looks digital?
Yes.
Those are the it ones. Like, who said crop sensor cannot get quick images?
Nobody.
No, there's some people who say that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, you and I don't say that, but yeah, a lot of people say that. Actually, you're right. Like, you've just brainwashed me right now. Yeah, a lot of people say that because they think that. Right? I mean, I'll tell you, yes, full frame may give you a small edge in very low light condition, right? Because they have a larger sensor, you can get a little bit more light in. And if you use a bigger lens, technically you have a little bit shallower depth of field. But those are small details that is lost in the whole experience of shooting when you have something that's compact and lightweight and fast and performance of what you need to create creative photos. I think there's a balance in that. Like, how much do you weigh the advantage of full frame? And I'm sold on the APS-C sensor. I don't know about you, but I think it delivers more.
What about me? I am it.
you are using it, right? Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see what else we got here. There's another ex-photographer. This is Hanzak. So he looks like a landscape photographer.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he's climbing up the mountain. Let's hear what he has to say about the X-T4. So, in early days, it's almost was a must to use a tripod as a landscape photographer. Nowadays, he finds himself using it a lot less, as the stabilization in cameras like the X-T4 helps a lot to handhold most of his photos. Other times, he would simply be too slow if he had to pull out a tripod. And sometimes he actually can't, right? Because look at that, you're on top of a mountain, like where you put the tripod is very difficult. So in those situations, he would better depend on the in-camera image stabilization. So to add here, he also says, also the durability of the new and bigger batteries was a surprise. Even in the coldest conditions on the mountains, the battery was lasting a lot longer compared to the regular size ones. Regarding reliability, he has exposed the X-T cameras to almost every climate you can imagine, from the damp rainforest up to the severe snowstorms on the high mountains. But these X-T cameras, they never fail.
See, that's professional camera right there.
Exactly, right? And look how small it is. He's holding like the 7200 like this. I can't even hold that with my full frame because the 7200 is quite a bit bigger. So this is
not my genre of photography, but then being in the group, I actually talked to quite a lot of different genre of photographers, like landscape photographers or photojournalism. Most of those back then, they shoot films.
Yes.
And then they replaced it with digital camera, full frame, and then now a lot moved to crop sensor and mirrorless camera,
from
Yes.
DSL because it's lighter. Imagine you have to carry that 1DX climbing like he does, man. It's a pain.
No, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
A way back, I went to China to do a workshop and photo shoot, and we went to this place called like Hotel Under Great Wall. That's the name of the hotel, I think. We'll translate in Chinese. They allow you to go in part of the Great Wall, which is untented. Mm-hmm. Which, in a way, I have to climb up. Like, all the stairs were broken. You know how Great Wall supposed to have stairs?
Yes.
It's all broken. It's all rocks. So back then, I have like 2 of those. I was shooting the Nikon back then. It's Nikon D800.
Okay.
800 or D700, something like that. I forgot. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. I have to carry a big backpack in my back and climb those, like what he just did here.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yes.
To go up all the way to the top of the photographs. I was like, oh man, why am I doing this? This is hard.
Yeah.
I wish my cameras were lighter.
Yeah, and if I remember right, the D700, D800 series, they were not weather resistant, were they? They were just full frame. Yeah, they didn't even hold up to the professional standards that the X-T4 does.
I think the A50 is not. Yeah, only the D850 is. The others are not. But still, they're heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what you get for full frame.
That
right?
and also the full frame lens are heavy.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember how big the 24-70 and 7200, they're huge.
Yeah, full frame lenses are just bigger because you have to have bigger glass for a bigger sensor. And the same reason why, if you want to go bigger, Fuji has an answer for that too. They got the medium format, baby, right? If you want to go big, they'll give you 100 megapixel.
Oh, you want depth of field? The medium format depth of field is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't beat it.
You can have a huge camera, huge lens, huge megapixel, and there's a time and place for that. But I think Fujifilm has taken a smart approach to the professionals in the more common industry. Yeah.
It makes more sense like for him, he's a landscape photographer, and I talk to like say reporters and photojournalism, right?
Yeah.
They said, why do I need a depth of field? I want I don't want no depth of field. I want to see everything. Like for reporter, I want to show as much as I can.
Yeah.
Landscape, same thing. So depth of field to them is meaningless.
It's the
like
opposite
1.4.
effect.
Why do they not 1.4? You give them 1.4, they should have f16 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point. Yeah, and I mean the only reason why I would want like the shallow depth of field is actually mainly for the light, right? You want to shoot with the wide open aperture for like event photography, like weddings on a dance floor when you don't have a lot of light, and that's pre-image stabilization, right? Because with image stabilization, it kind of allows you now to shoot with like a f2.8 lens and still get great shots even in low light conditions. So the crop sensor with the X-T4 does take care of that even without having a super fast lens.
Well, that's why we learn lightings in those situations.
Yeah. Oh, but
we can do some video about that later.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of digress in the wrong thought too, because I don't know Fuji lens a lot, but of course this is the X series lens, and they have fast primes as well, right? So you can use fast prime on these.
They have both line zoom lens and also fast prime. The prime lens is really, really nice. I kid you not.
Then I take back everything I say. I think these cameras are amazing, even with the shallow depth of field. So
I fell in love. This is like a 35 1.4.
Yeah.
Look how tiny this lens is.
Yes.
So this is equating to like a 50 millimeter lens. Well, actually, I should take out the lens clip.
Oh,
it's
that
even
is small. That is small. Yeah.
So it's really lightweight. It's like this thing is on my camera. I never take it off unless I have to.
Yeah, I think I can even show you the equivalent on the full frame for the Canon right now. So this is the equivalent. This is the 24 millimeter prime f1.4. It's probably about twice as big as your lens and quite a bit heavier. Yeah, let's compare these side by side. Look at that. Yeah. Well, this is the full frame lens on a crop body, but don't ignore the body. We're just looking at the lens here.
Oh, just that little lens then.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I have those aperture ring though. Do you?
No, I don't have an aperture ring. This is just focus. Yeah.
Can you hear that sound?
Yeah, that sounds nice. ASMR. I'm getting the tingles. Yeah. I mean, like you already saw my 1DX with 1635, right? This thing it's a monster. And if I can shoot with some shallow depth of something lighter and smaller for weddings, I would. Yeah, definitely.
Because you know what? At one point they kind of argued, your 1DX, if you drop it, it's quite still, it's better, but they actually have a solution because they have company do. You see how this web down here?
Yeah.
Right. So they actually make cages. I think they already make a cages for X-T4 already. The company is called Small Rig. Because, you can search for it.
Small rig.
Yeah, small rig. So they make cages for it. So basically, you drop it the cage, hit it first. So your camera is actually well protected, and the cages are lightweight. So if you want to go really doable, get a cages for your camera. You can lose.
Oh yeah.
And it's like those big camera too.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's always options out there if you want to go even more pro. But by itself, it's pretty. Damn, feel like not just a rock, feel like titanium.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So small lenses, high performance camera. I love the crop sensor, and we gotta touch on video, right? Because this day and age,
built for video, pretty much. Not built, but built for S for video too.
Yes. So I love how Fujifilm doesn't just focus on stills. These X-T4 is probably going to be the most popular camera for cinematographer, YouTubers, and vloggers. This is what they say. So the evolution of the X-T4 is not just limited to stills photography. In addition to the full HD 240p high-speed recording, which gives you a maximum of 10x slow motion effect, the X-T4 features digital image stabilizer, DIS, and image stabilization, IS, boost mode. So you got the digital image stabilizer and the image stabilization boost mode. By combining these two image stabilization modes with the powerful in-body image stabilization, the IBIS that we've been talking about, the 6.5 stops of IBIS, then with the X-T4, you can experience a whole new level of stabilized video shooting without the need of a gimbal or third-party accessory.
Oh,
that's crazy.
When I see video offers, I always kind of feel sorry for them because they have to carry so many those gimbal, third-party accessories just to make the video work. Yes. I hope this will help.
Oh yeah, this will help a lot. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people use X-T4 handheld, and it's amazing because you're combining digital image stabilization, you're combining IS boost mode, you're using the powerful in-body image stabilization, the 6.5 stops of image stabilization. You have these three things all working together to stabilize your shot, and they work together in tandem. I mean, this is where 1 + 1 is 3 because it all comes together as a powerful solution. So here's a videographer. Oh man, Yoshihiro
Inatsu.
Okay, do you know him?
No.
You should, because he's a famous ex-photographer.
Do you know how many ex-photographers out there in the world? How am I supposed to know everybody?
There's a lot. I'm just teasing. But I like this guy because his art jives closely with mine because I do wedding videography. So he actually does videography other things too. So this is what he says about the X-T series. The performance of the in-body image stabilization is definitely one of the best in mirrorless cameras. Wow. Just starting off with that's huge.
That's golden.
Yeah. The ability to shoot handheld while achieving this level of stabilization are a strong asset when shooting videos. Heck yeah. Also, with the new film simulation, the Eternal Bleach Bypass, the X-T4 has given him a huge surprise. He says this digital cinema camera are sure to expand the potential of the X series system in the field of creative works.
For sure.
Yeah, that's really bold. I mean, we just already said like this is amazing stabilization, and he's testified for that, right? He's been shooting it, and he says it's some of the best he's ever
I'm
seen.
not even a video kind of guy. I'm a photographer. I mean, yes, I learned videography and that before, but I get up and do photography. And that's way back though. But with this X-T4, knowing that I don't need a gimbal, and then also I could apply all this film simulator as a color grading onto my video.
Yeah.
Do you know how much time and gears and learning curve that saved me? I will actually really get into videos right now. And actually more people will actually go into video just because this type of technologies can save them a lot of money, not buying those gimbal and accessories, and also save them the time to color grading or do a lot of editing in the post. This would make people do more and more video just because of this.
Yeah, and you think, okay, fine, you don't need to buy a gimbal and you save money, but it's actually not even about just having the accessory and spending the money, but it's the convenience of just holding the camera, being in the moment to capture it and moving just handheld and being an extension of your body versus having to have a different equipment to set it up, to calibrate it, and to invest in it too. So it really takes videography to a whole nother level. This is what the X-T4 is bringing.
Coolio.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can go talk a little bit about colors. I think we already touched on it. Fujifilm is just, they're big in colors. To them, colors matter every time. Everything you do, whether it's still or movies, color science is ingrained in Fujifilm's system.
I always have this debate with the older generation photographers because the older generation photographers, they come from the film days. They love black and white.
Yes.
And I respect that, and I truly believe that because back in the film days, when you do black and white, you're really playing with light and shadow. That's the art of light and shadow.
Yeah,
right? That's black and white.
Yes, it shows up in the most purest form.
But that's because in the film days, you actually capture lights and shadows. That makes sense.
Yes.
But with new digital age, the sensor has RGBs in there, and they combine all that, become, I don't know, 16.8 million colors.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Compared to only 256 grayscale.
Yes.
That's a lot of difference. Also, naturally, we human eyes see colors, unlike dogs. Dogs see black and white, colorblind.
Are they?
Right?
They only see black and white? Are they colorblind or do they only see black and white? That's two different things.
They only see black and white, I think.
Oh, wow.
That's why
crazy.
when they see red thing, whatever, become more contrasty, they're more excited.
Oh.
I mean, cows too. But, well, not talk about dogs.
Okay,
I'm
curious. Sorry.
So human beings see colors. So in the digital age, when you're able to show color, why can't we show more colors?
Yes.
Color basically attract and trigger a lot of emotions and feeling within our human feelings. So that helps a lot. While black and white only do one thing.
Shadows. So
I don't know. That's always a debate, to be honest. It becomes like the core photography, but we can stick with it, but then we also reverse. That's why I love what Fuji is doing. I mean, yes, they stick with the origins of photography, but they also play a huge part in colors.
Yeah, and also don't forget one of their popular film simulator is actually black and white, right?
Oh, I love that black and white. That one's really contrasty.
Yeah. So even though they say color matters, black and white is colors to them too, because it's the art.
Black and white is
film.
color.
Yeah.
One of the colors.
Yes.
They never exclude it.
Yes. So let's hear what they say about the film simulation. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit already. You can see like this is the eternal result here, and this is the eternal Bleach Bypass. So film simulation. Fujifilm's color science is a result of years of research in both analog and digital photography. All X-series cameras allow you to access this research at the touch of a button to help you express your creative vision. I think we already read this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so basically the XT line has this one new color film simulation that they
Bleach
really,
Bypass.
they really want to emphasize. It's this, it just looks amazing. I mean, this is Eterna, which looks great because it looks very typical, right? But
I think
it's
a lot
punchy.
of people fail to realize that, yes, to a lot of people say, oh, just another couple files. But if you know that internally the team who deals with color science and how long they spend to actually make this right, to mimic back how the original film looks like, how the film process looks like, it requires a lot of work to make this work. So it's not just another color profile. You just get it in Photoshop, get it. It's not like that. They need to match and make sure that it looks exactly like how back then looks like.
Oh yeah,
that's a huge amount of work.
I mean, the amount of work, of course, is valuable too, but to the end user, it's the result that this work has provided. And at the touch of your fingertips, any of the X series camera has all these film simulations. Well, not all. The latest one, the X-T4, has all plus this one. But all these film simulations are not just like plugins or color filters. They actually are very pleasing, and there's a science behind them. That's why they look so good.
Well, here's a good analogy. You're a car guy, right?
Yeah.
You like your S2000, you like your NSX. There's a reason, not just because it's fast, it looks good, but there's stuff inside that car that admire you, right? You admire how the engineering is because they use certain parts and certain technology.
Yes.
That's kind of exactly the same thing here.
Yes.
So, and now people say, it's just a car, it has 4-wheel, and just turn it, right? It's not like that, right?
Yes, exactly. That's a very good analogy. There's just so much in the color science and film simulation. I mean, if you don't get it now, buy a Fuji camera, you'll get it. I mean, it's something to really look forward to. So like, here's all the other film simulation that it comes with. This is the classic neg. Here's the Eterna. Here's the Eterna Bleach Bypass, this new one.
I can't wait.
Across. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Here's the Provia, the Valvia, Classic Chrome.
I use this a lot, Classic Chromes a lot right now.
Classic neg. Don't they have a black and white here? I don't see a black and white here.
You just passed it, dude.
Oh, that's a black and white? This one? The classic neg?
Keep going. No, keep going. You see this?
The sky, right? You can see the sky.
Let's just look at the skies.
Yeah. Oh,
there.
This one. Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Oh, tone adjustments. So not only can you apply these film simulation, you can adjust and dial them in, right, Jeremy?
They kind of the same idea as back then with the film. It could actually keep it in there a little bit longer or shorter to change the outcome of the picture. Same thing goes here. I think that's what the option gave you, is that you could basically control the highlight and shadow in those film simulators. Do you want less highlight, more blow out, or more highlight, more detail, or more pitch black, more shadow, or less shadows that you see some detail in the shadow? So they give you the control. That's pretty awesome. So they don't just like snap you here's a preset, use it, and then all the picture looks like, but they also let you customize it at your personal taste level.
Yes, that's really cool. Like again, this is stuff that you would do in post-processing, but yet you can do this right in the camera with all these film simulation, and it applies to film, aka stills, as well as video.
Actually, one thing that I can't wait to try out is the new auto white balance, which has the white priority. I really want to try that out as a wedding photographer, and also at some points I want to shoot like overexposed stuff. But those overexposed sometimes it's not pure white. Yeah. And this white priority actually gives you that pure whiteness in the pictures. So I really want to try it out and see how that works out.
Yes.
I need to try it. I mean, I never tried it, so I can't really judge how good it is, but it's very interesting and tempting.
Coming from the Canon series, we do have something similar to that, and it works pretty well. So I imagine Fujifilm implementing this in their camera is going to be executed very nicely. But again, I have yet to try it, and I look forward to it as well. Yeah. So let's take a look at the Performance tab. Let's see what we got here. performance, speed where you need it to capture the decisive moment. And part of what you said earlier is professional cameras. This is one of the key component to what a professional camera is. It's not the size of the camera, it's not the number of megapixel, but it's actually the speed is a big factor to be able to capture the moments. Can it capture the moment? Because if it can't, then it's not a professional camera. You need to be able to capture these decisive moments.
That jewel box he had looks pretty cool. Sorry.
No worries. So, I mean, let's talk about the technology inside this. Did we read this yet? This is very similar to what we said earlier, but this is a reminder of the technology that provides the performance in these X-T4 cameras. So the X-T4 utilizes the high-speed performance of the X-Trans CMOS 4, which is a back-illuminated structure and features phase detection pixels across the entire sensor. Combined with the new advanced autofocus algorithm, the X Processor 4 and the camera delivers exceptional autofocus performance. The X-T4 has the ability to focus fast and accurately in low light, lock onto human face and eyes, and track a moving subject with ease, providing you with the added confidence to capture the decisive shot.
You can't say no to X-Trans sensors.
Good technology, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're kind of running low on time. So we're just going to blast through the rest of this and kind of wrap it up because all this is available on the website, Fuji's website. But yeah, really fast autofocus. We got tracking. You see, they use color to track as well as object recognition to track. And it's really the algorithm that allows it to track really well. So that's pretty cool for video use there. And you got face and eye autofocus, both working on video as well as on stills. So you can see she's moving forward and back, and look at this. This is at f1.4 with this shallow depth of field, but the camera is able to track the eye perfectly as she's dancing and moving around here.
It's good for video and photo too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's also good for video and photo. It's the low light autofocus. You can the autofocus works down to -6 EV, which is almost complete darkness. It's incredible what this camera can do. Like 5 years ago, this is impossible. But even a few years ago, this is not possible with the speed and accuracy that the X-T4 delivers. Burst shooting, basically you're just combining the fast 15 frames per second with this amazing autofocus, and combine that, you have a machine capable of capturing amazing moments of fast action in bursts, so that you don't miss the moment. Durability, as we kind of hit many times, the in-body image stabilization is built well. It's 30% smaller and 20% lighter, the mechanism, than the predecessor that they used in the XH1 adoption. This is amazing. And then based on different lenses, the amount of stops that the image stabilization does slightly vary. You can see it's like 6.5 on most of these lenses, 6 here, and maybe on this particular lens you have 5 stops. So it varies based on the lens. It's got the weather resistance. It's got 63 points of weather seal. So very advanced level of dust and moisture resistance, similar to that to the X-T3 that Jeremy has, right? It's very good. You can shoot without concern, knowing that the camera operates in temperatures as low as -10 degrees Celsius and in tough conditions like rain and clouds of dust. So AKA a professional camera. You have the LCD EVF in boost mode. So you can change the result of how these LCD EVF works based on luminance priority, resolution priority, frame rate priority. You guys can read that on the website. The new battery is also amazing too. If you're using X-T3, you'll know one of the biggest complaints is that the battery life isn't as good.
Yeah.
Right? So with the X-T4, it's got a larger capacity. Basically, these new batteries, yeah, that's the battery for your X-T4. Yeah, so the new one is only about 20% bigger than that, Jeremy, but it has almost twice the capacity.
Double capacity.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really want to upgrade. It's because of the battery too, not just for the in-camera stabilization.
Yeah,
and
batteries,
the LCD.
Yeah, the LCD, the in-camera stabilization, and the battery are the three biggest reasons why I would upgrade too. And also, don't forget, if you want to get the battery grip, the VG X-T4, that allows you to actually have 2 batteries in the grip, as well as 1 battery in the body. So that's 3 batteries, and that's around 1,700 frames per charge. So you pretty much
that's the whole day.
Yeah, you can go the whole day shooting video or photo without having to worry about battery. So, and then we'll go over to video here. This is the last one. We'll go through it real quick. So obviously video is important to Fujifilms, and they say basically uncompromising video capabilities. In a nutshell, that just means this is a pro camera for video. So they got a new mode here where you have a stills and movie to switch between them. And the cool thing I like about it is when you switch to still mode. Yeah, Jeremy?
This is a really good features for a camera that can capable of both photography and videography.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and what it really does is if you switch to the still modes here, the menu only has still mode settings to worry about, so you don't get cluttered with all the other menu items that's related to movie. And if you, in the same respect, if you switch over to movie mode, then the menu corresponds to all the movie settings. So it's very convenient and it helps you avoid a cluttered system of menus. Optimized control for movie. I really like this. It's a subtle feature, but it's great because they allow you to either use the dials to control all your settings, or you can use the touchscreen to control all your settings. As a videographer myself, I prefer using the touchscreen because that allows me to make all my changes without the click click noises of all the dials. It's nice. And when you enable, yeah.
I wonder if this works with the cell phone too, because the cell phone Fuji app has the remote control that I can control everything, you know, on the camera. So I could basically set a camera over there and just shoot and control the setting on my phone. I wonder if this also work in my cell phone. That'd be amazing. I mean, if they update the app too.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I would love that. Yeah, because then you don't even need to tap the screen, even though I don't think it matters too much, but that would be sweet. Another reason why professional level of recording is important is because, well, when you define video recording, anything can record videos, but what makes the X-T4 able to deliver professional level of recording is the quality of the output. Basically, video can be recorded to an external device via the HDMI at 4K 60p 10-bit 422. Or you can record it internally at 4K 60p at 10-bit as well, 420. It can also support the H.264 codec as well as the H.265 codec, which offers high rate of compression while recording at 4K 60p 10-bit 420 video. It can give you a bit rate of 200 megabits. So a lot of data and a lot of quality in your video. Of course, if you want to have smaller video size, you can always choose your MPEG-4 or the MOV standard as well. Yeah, you're combining really good autofocus, great color science, great sensors, and then output and all these different codecs and everything. You got an amazing machine for professional video. And all these codecs here, you can go through this ultra high speed recording. You record at 240 frames per second. That equates to 10x slow-mo. Check out that slow motion. Yeah. And a lot of other cameras, you're lucky to get 120 frames per second. This one does 240. And of course, you can stabilize even more. We already mentioned that you can combine the digital image stabilization, aka DIS, with the IS boost mode, and then combine that with the IBIS, and you just got 3 levels of image stabilization. It takes you to the whole nother level of reducing camera shake. You have the F-Log output, but you also have the F-Log assist view. So basically, when you record an F-log, your pictures are a little bit more gray, which allows you to capture more details in the highlight and the shadows. But when you're viewing it in this flat gray look, it's hard to check focus, it's hard to check how it looks like in post. So they have a F-log view assist on. When you turn this on, it looks like it's already post-processed, so it's easier to see what your result might look like. So it's a nice feature. There's also other camera video features here. One of the ones that stick out is backup recording. Do you remember what that one is, Jeremy? You want to share what backup recording is all about?
You could actually record and save in both card at the same time.
Yeah, and that's actually a huge thing to me. And a lot of other camera manufacturers often annoy me because, first of all, I never shoot a professional event with any camera that has only one memory card. It's got to have two. So if I shoot weddings, it's got to have two memory cards. And that means when I take one picture, it saves the same image into two memory cards. I love that because the last thing on my mind, the last thing I ever want is to come home from a 12-hour wedding and put that memory card in the computer and have it say, unable to read memory card. Would you like to format this memory card? No, I don't want that. That's why I want backup. So when I shoot video, I always find it very annoying that a lot of these other manufacturers, although they have dual memory cards, you can't write video to both memory cards. But with the X-T4, you can. So that's one of my favorite features of video. So in a nutshell, those are all the features of this amazing camera. And right now, you can actually pre-order it from... What? Oh yeah, you could. Yeah, it's. I thought I saw this picture and I thought that wasn't it. But yes, you can pre-order right now. It will be released on May 11. There's limited quantities, right? So
yeah.
Usually with the first batch, there's limited quantities. So if you want one, I mean, you're gonna get it sooner or later. Get it now so you can have it. You can be the first one in the block to have it. You can enjoy it. You can experience and grow with it and spend more time with it because it's not going to get any cheaper anytime soon. So definitely get it. It comes with options of the camera body by itself or with the 16 to 80 lens or with the 18 to 55 lens. Jeremy, you want to give a quick spiel on which lens you would recommend if they just buy the X-T4 and they don't have a lens?
I will recommend, if you don't have a lens or like a zoom lens at all, I will highly recommend a 16 to 80 millimeter lens. Here's the reason why. So in this picture with the 1855, that is a f2.8 to f4. That lens has OIS, which is like the lens in lens stabilization, right? Then they have another one which is 16 to 55, constant f2.8, but that one do not have a stabilization, but it has weather seal. So this makes Fuji user that really had a headache. Like they have to choose same photo length. One has a weather seal, one has an OIS, but they don't have both. But with this new lens, 16 to 80 millimeters, it has both.
Yes. Yeah, this 16 to 85 is sweet. So if you look at the lens by itself, the 16 to, is it 16 to 80?
80.
Yeah, so the 16 to 80 right here, it has OIS, that's their optical image stabilization, and it has WR is weather resistant, is that right? Yeah, so it has both. So this is a sweet lens to get with the camera.
And look at the size; it's not that big for that range kind of lens.
Yeah.
It's for frame equivalent to like 24 to 120.
Yeah, it's a good range. And here it is paired up with the X-T3, which is around the same size as the X-T4. So it does pair up very nicely. So yeah,
it's one lens that you carry and basically you could capture everything.
Yeah, it's a great lens. Totally recommend it. If you want to shoot prime, you can always look at the prime lenses. But if you don't have a lens yet, start with the 16 to 80. That's a great lens that comes with the camera. Make no mistake, it's not your kit lens. It's a really high quality lens. So yeah, that's a good one to get. So I believe that pretty much wraps up our talk. I mean, we talked a lot, not necessarily on the actual detail spec, but kind of what Fujifilm is about and how it delivers all that in the X-T4, which makes it a great tool for any photographer. Anything you want to add to close out, Jeremy?
I just hope that all this kind of personal experience
which kind of reflect and able to help you understand more the culture of Fujifilm. And if you really want to look at the spec, I mean, the specs are over the website and over the web, so you can find it. But hopefully what we share is something that is useful and help you understand more, and not just wasting your time.
I think, well, we're biased, obviously, but I think we provide a very good overview.
I couldn't say myself biased. I mean, not that I'm born with Fuji. I switched over too, and I'm switched from full frame to this. So that makes even a big story. Like, why? Because it's just that good.
Yeah, enough said. I mean, if you have questions, feel free to let us know. You leave comments or check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/pixelstabbers. We got a lot of content there too. Reach out to us. Let us know what you like. Let us know if you're buying the X-T4. And if you're not buying it, let us know why. And if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. We're here to help. And thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We love your viewership. Like the video and subscribe to Pixel Stabbers. And we will see you guys next time. So we're signing out.
See you next time.
Adios. Have a great night.
Adios.
See ya.